Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel, Become the Disruptor. My name is Magda. I'm a trauma-informed qualified therapist, and today we're going to be talking about sequencing and how sequencing is essential for those of you whose nervous system is overwhelmed from constant analyzing, from constant strategizing, for constant monitoring your inner life. Because those of you who are analyzing a lot, you know specifically what you need to do for you to heal, for you to grow, for you to transform your life. And you know exactly what to do. But the thing is that there's a lot of things that you know that you gotta do to change, to heal. And this is the trap, because you're trying then to change everything all at once, and almost like you're analyzing your whole patterns, you're analyzing all your behavior, and that really leads to overthinking, more rumination, more overwhelm, because your nervous system cannot really process 50 different variables, 20 different changes that you need to incorporate into your life, to heal or grow or whichever. Your nervous system then going to start, usually what it starts to freeze. It starts freezing, your body is freezing, and then what you do, you come back to thinking. And thinking is not a way out, because actually this is thinking, in this particular case scenario, is a trap. You're trapping yourself because thinking actually feels safer than correct action. Correct action that will be sequenced, which I will tell you about in a second, and that would be not overwhelming for your nervous system, because it's going to be your nervous system that will bear the consequences of your change of behavior. Thinking about the change of behavior, that is safe. That's your comfort zone. You can analyze. It's like that's your forte. You know how to do that, especially if you're intelligent, highly functioning, and competent person. You know how to do that. But change of behavior, that's where the nervous system capacity is actually tested by life, by real life, and how you respond to real life. So the answer is not for you to try harder or understand more or research more or analyze more or strategize more. No, the answer is actually, like I said, it's sequencing. So sequencing as in, you pick one area of your life that you're like, okay, this needs to change. This actually I really want to change. So think about your goals. Whether that is relationship, whether that is, money, friendships, community, work, whichever that is, pick one area. And now, we're not talking about future action. We're talking about the action that's going to happen today. Yes. And this is, sequencing is not a tool. So I'm not giving you a tool. I'm giving you something that you can act upon today and see how your nervous system capacity is responding to that. Because you don't have a thinking problem or talking about your feelings problem. You have an acting problem and feeling sensations in the body problem. Yeah. So we are sequencing solves that problem over time, okay? So you think about, you pick one area of your life, and today the question is, which is one behavior that I can change today, from now, that is small enough for my nervous system to tolerate it? And you know what that could be? That could be watching less YouTube, scrolling less for content and wisdom and knowledge and information, and actually living inside your own body. That could be one thing that could give you a dramatic change. But that is just a suggestion, yes? Like I said, you pick one depending on your goals. This is a very, I would say, neutral suggestion that is irrespective of any goal that you have in your life, yeah? So you pick that one behavior, not 10 behaviors, not everything, just one, and then you stay with it. So you change that one behavior today, and then you observe how your nervous system was responding. So Did your nervous system, you're like, how did your body respond? Did you feel fear? Did you feel dread? Did you feel like you're losing something? What was actually happening in the body when you were changing that particular behavior? Yeah, that observation, that's gold. That is you already moving. So observe that. And also remember one thing, when you're changing the behavior, it means that you're changing a pattern that had been repeated for years and years. This pattern, because it was repeated and because it was automatic, it required zero energy for you to get involved. Now, for you to change that pattern, because you're now changing that pattern, it means that it's going to cost you some energy, because, a lack of change does not cost any energy. Therefore, you don't need to rest. Your body is just like automatic, doing things automatically. But when you change that one behavior, your nervous system's gonna feel, on top of maybe feeling the fear or anger or dread, whatever the feeling is that involves the actual direct change of behavior, you're gonna also feel tired, because suddenly you're changing a behavior that had been ongoing for years and didn't cost you any energy. Now you're changing it. So you're gonna feel tired as well. So bear that in mind. I'm talking, guys, so what I'm giving you is the actual, it's not theory. This is something that I saw in my sessions with my clients for years. And I had been in this industry for almost a decade. And I've done loads of work on myself to bring myself to this, let's say, version of me that you see now talking to you on YouTube. So I've done this work myself, so I know the exact consequences, and I also done this work with my clients. So I am not talking about some theoretical stuff. I'm giving you the actual potential consequences that you will have to endure in a way to get the life that you want, to truly heal. So like I said, you're gonna feel the raw emotion coming from that behavioral change when you do the sequencing, but also your nervous system's gonna feel tired because you're using more energy, because the action is no longer automatic. So you have to allow your nervous system to shift into the new mode. So it's safe to feel the fear and still persistently do this new action. But also it's okay for me to rest. And you've got so much problems with resting, the productive types, like, guys. So, and you then like, oh, why my life hasn't changed even though I understand everything? Well, that's because you don't really appreciate how your body is working, how your nervous system is working, and what you need to do to actually change and heal, not what the mainstream or marketing trends on psychology and therapy content is telling you. Because that's not, a lot of that is just BS, literally. So only when your nervous system then starts treating this new action as normal and doesn't require you to get more energy and like rest, then you move on to the next thing. And this is how you slowly change. So it doesn't happen, as you can see, not this type of healing an actual healing does not happen through intensity, but actually happens through precision. So you're feeling the intensity of the emotions, but it's not intense in any other way. It's not performative. You do this through precision, and you have to understand that this overwhelm that you're feeling, because you're analyzing so much, it doesn't come from the lack of knowledge, it comes from the lack of structure, and sequencing introduces the structure. So then your nervous system, when you start introducing that sequencing that I just told you about, your nervous system stops resisting change, because it's like, so this is how we do it. So it's safe to feel the emotions in the body, it's safe to rest. Okay, this is the real change. Okay, let's carry on. And this is how you are teaching your nervous system how to actually be like with you on that change, on the path towards, healing or growth, whichever phase you are currently in. And this is how you do it, and this is the way out. So when you do that, you can do the sequencing by yourself. You can experiment it, or you can hire a practitioner like myself to help you to do that work. So I trust that that video was helpful and practical, so you can use it today actually. And I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye bye.